Hi guys! Remy here again with another video. And today, I'll be talking about why you shouldn't buy the iPhone 6 or 6 Plus in 2019. These are all my opinion and hopefully will help consumers who are planning to buy an old iPhone or any flagship phone. I'll be discussing why you shouldn't get the iPhone 6 or 6 Plus. Before we get started, a quick refresher about the history of the iPhone 6. The iPhone 6 was released last September 2014, meaning it will turn 5 years old this coming September. It was a groundbreaking year for Apple as it offered a newer and bigger design, far different from its predecessors, the iPhone 5 and 5S. Also, it was the first time Apple introduced the Plus version, which accompanies the regular-sized iPhones, for consumers to have various choices. But unfortunately, the iPhone 6 and 6 Plus was notorious for its Bendgate issue, and a lot of people have been alarmed by it. This is due to a rather weak aluminum 6000 build of the iPhone 6. A lot of videos surfaced online on its Bendgate issue, and became the talk of the town at that moment. This prompted Apple to upgrade it to Aluminium 7000 on the next generation to hopefully end the Bendgate issue and assure the consumers of a stronger, more durable type of aluminum. So that was the brief history of the iPhone 6, and now let's get to the top reasons not to buy the iPhone 6 and 6 Plus. Reason 1. Not enough storage. The first reason on not getting the iPhone 6 or 6 Plus is its storage. Its base storage is only 16GB. This is not acceptable in 2019 as apps, games, photos, software updates, and a whole lot of storage-consuming items are becoming larger and larger each year. Having only 16GB of base storage will give you a hard time storing documents and photos, especially when traveling. It would require you to constantly delete old photos or useless apps just to clear space, giving you inconvenience and a hard time deleting items and documents. So this is a reasonable thing to consider on why you should not get the iPhone 6. Reason 2. RAM. The RAM of the iPhone 6 and 6 Plus is only 1GB. Even on the time it was still newly released, the 1GB of RAM was already deemed to be very small for medium to heavy multitasking. Although it was able to handle its tasks during its time, it is a different story in 2019. A gigabyte of RAM will simply be consumed by a single or two apps open simultaneously. This will mean when you open multiple tasks, your iPhone will ultimately lag horribly and make it a hard time using the phone. So if you are part of the majority of people who value your time, the iPhone 6 Plus won't be fit for your lifestyle as you will constantly experience minor to major lags, ranging from stutters to freezing of apps and programs. A 10-second lag may be bearable for a lot of people, but take note that when this happens all the time, you'll be surprised at how much you ultimately waste your time in the long run. So the RAM is the second reason why you should not consider getting the iPhone 6 in 2019. Reason 3. No more software updates. This must be the ultimate reason not to get the iPhone 6 if you're considering getting one. According to various tech websites and blogs, Apple reportedly won't roll out the latest iOS 13 update to the iPhone 6, 6 Plus, and iPhone SE. This is a big red flag because this means iPhone 6 will finally be on the obsolete side of the smartphone industry. This is not a shock because the iPhone 6 will be turning 5 years old, which will understandably be made questionable for future updates. Additionally, its specs may not be able to handle the newer updates and features, as every major iOS update would require a lot more RAM, processing power, and capabilities from each iPhone. But fortunately for iPhone 6 users, this may not be true when Apple will officially reveal this info on June 3. Let's just hope Apple will consider including the mentioned iPhones, but to be sure, might as well refrain from getting the soon-to-be 5-year-old iPhone 6 because after all, the newer update will take a major toll on the performance of the phone due to upgrades which will ultimately result in poor performance. Reason 4. Build. The build of the iPhone 6 is not relevant for 2019. It has the inferior Aluminium 6000. Like what I mentioned earlier, having the Aluminium 6000 means a weaker build, which may result in the infamous Bendgate issue. This is a deal breaker because anytime when you accidentally sit on your phone, drop your phone, or apply extra force to it, the iPhone 6 may fold and bend. You wouldn't want that happen on your iPhone. Additionally, the Aluminium 6000 is more susceptible to scratches and dents than the newer Aluminium 7000. So even if you handle your phone carefully, in the long run, it will acquire scratches and dents. It is inevitable, so if you would want to keep your phone for a long time, then the iPhone 6 is not the way to go. Reason 5. Design. The design of the iPhone 6 is quite obsolete, even though this may be petty for some. Having an obsolete design will limit your mobile phone experience because eventually, you will want that smaller bezel, sleeker design, and ultimately a more futuristic design to your phone. A lot of people will upgrade their phones solely on the reason of a newer design. So if you're tired of the classic Apple design we loved for years, then don't consider the iPhone 6. Reason 6. No water and dust resistance. Now this is huge for me. For someone who experienced their phone being damaged by unintentional water drop, you will want your next phone to be water and dust resistant. It seems logical to have this feature if possible because your phone costs a lot and is an investment. But with one mistake of accidental drop, all your files will be lost forever and your hard-earned money bought for the phone will be good as gone. Having the water and dust resistance will simply give you the assurance that if any inevitable circumstance will happen, then your phone is surely protected. So with these being said, because the iPhone 6 does not have the water and dust resistance, this is another reason not to get the iPhone 6. Reason 7. First generation fingerprint sensor. Another reason not to get the iPhone 6 is its first generation fingerprint sensor. This is the first generation of Apple making fingerprint sensors, and believe me when I say that it needs a lot of improvement. According to multiple sites, the average consumer opens their phone for up to 300 times a day, and out of the granted 300 unlocks, there will be an estimate of 100 misread of the fingerprint. That's a staggering 1/3 of your unlock ratio. When you factor it, it will sum up to a lot of times and will be very consuming on the long run. By simply choosing the 6S, you will already be able to get the second generation fingerprint sensor, which is miles better. So this is another reason to ditch the iPhone 6 because its fingerprint sensor is still experimental, and I always say that every first generation are experimental and faulty in most cases. Reason 9. Camera. The second to the last reason is its camera. It features a 6-megapixel rear camera and a 1.2-megapixel front camera. This is bad news for selfie lovers and mobile photography lovers. You will have at most an average experience in the camera department. It won't make the cut of being an acceptable camera in 2019. If you want that perfect selfie with your loved ones, perfect travel photo, perfect food photo, and perfect everyday shots, then do not go with the iPhone 6. Almost all people are on Instagram, and believe me, you would want a better camera to post your adventures and favorite memories. This is reasonable because when the day comes that you reminisce your adventures and old photos, it will benefit you when you get the newer and more advanced camera phones. So I highly suggest to look for other resorts in terms of camera and smartphones and don't get the iPhone 6. Reason 10. Display. The last and most important reason in my opinion is its display. This is a very underrated area to consider, but come to think of it, we look at our phones almost all the time. At bed, in work, school, on the bus, car, while eating, while being on an awkward situation or boring dinner dates, and almost everything we do, one way or another, requires us to look on our phones. When you consider all of these, you consider your quality of display. Unfortunately for the iPhone 6, you still get the inferior LCD display. Apple, being known to use LCD, already switched to Super AMOLED displays starting the iPhone 10. This is justified because aside from saving tons of battery life due to its individual pixels lighting up and saving power, you also experience deeper blacks and more vibrant colors. The difference in display between LCD and AMOLED displays are night and day. So because we spend most of our time looking at our phones, we simply deserve a better display than what the iPhone 6 offers. For a person who uses both LCD and Super AMOLED displays, believe me when I say that the AMOLED display is miles better. So this is the most compelling reason to ditch the iPhone 6 because of its LCD display, which is inferior and worse than the AMOLED display. So that wraps it, guys. Those were my top 10 reasons on why you should not buy the iPhone 6 in 2019. Do you have any comments or suggestions regarding the video? Comment down below and I would gladly answer all your questions. Please take note that these are all my opinion and are only here to help you decide on buying old flagship phones and in this regard, help you to disregard the iPhone 6. So if you like the video, please leave a like. And for more content on tech, please click the subscribe button and notification bell below. That's it for today, guys. Stay tuned for my next videos. Thanks so much and see you again!